Yo, Mew, I see you got a new hoodie on, son. I mean, you know what I'm saying? We need the merchandise, B.
Man,
I know, yo. When I was making these, nobody was really feeling it. I was selling them. You know what I'm saying? Maybe this was like 2 years ago, and nobody was really feeling it. But I may have to remarket it. So I just started just wearing my own merchandise.
as you
I
should.
mean,
You
what?
got the, you got the supply.
Yeah. So,
You got a
but
red one?
no, I just got. I just made a blue one, and I made. I have like two black ones, and
Okay.
one have like the little, the white strip there, whatever.
Yeah.
But I think I definitely want to explore it again. It's just like so much
So you
going.
got a lot going on.
Yeah.
I mean, you was just on Fox Soul. That's dope. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you, man. Yeah, I'm
You
blessed.
can't give a compliment.
Hey, man, for the attendees,
Aw,
man,
man.
we would love to know where you're from, man. Drop it in the chat where you're from, attendees, please. Storm, move.
Thank you, Stevon.
You're quite welcome, man. Geez Louise, man. We got to teach the folks how to take a compliment and accept
Right.
it. Own it.
I just reposted that too. A black therapist. She
Yeah,
posted.
you did. I saw it.
did.
That's why. That's
Yeah,
why I did that. Yeah, I did see that.
I definitely need to work on that for sure.
Yeah, yeah. You doing a good job. You out here trying to do dope stuff. We got Savannah, Georgia in the building.
Yeah, what's up, Savannah? Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Oh, it's all good. It ain't for brothers
Percent.
only. Everybody's welcome to sit in on the conversation.
Yeah, everybody is. Everybody.
Hey, I like Nikki puts here. I'm Flint, but I'm in Grand Rapids. But don't by way of Flint. Know about my city. I like it. I like it. I like it.
The Bronx,
Oh, this
Michigan.
is all Muse people. All Aaron's folks.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
New
Muse
York.
people.
Yeah, you got, East Coast is holding it down. BX, jeez
good.
Louise.
That's good,
Where
Trey.
the West Coast? Where the West Coast at?
Ah, man, I'm in the building. I'm right here, son. You know what I mean? Inglewood, right here. I'm gonna type it in the thing. Yo, Inglewood.
Yes.
Get at me.
Man.
Get at me.
For those of y'all that Bashea, he's actually on his way, man.
Yeah, he just did a dope event. Him and his wife. It was really good. I was able to tune in while I was feeding the kids and whatnot. So it was very good. So that he's on his way home. So we told we'll get started.
Yeah, we some hardworking brothers out here, huh?
Right, and you can definitely understand.
Bashea, he got moved from one event to the next. Still find time.
I know. I told him. I said Thursday's gonna be real busy for you, man.
He's like, it's net to a boss.
All right, I'm trying to figure out. Let me see. Stop that and then restart it.
Shine our tech support.
Yeah.
Nah, he's definitely a blessing with all of
Yeah, this would never happen if it was left to me.
Y'all, slave. That's what it is. they cracking a whip.
Yeah. Right? We ain't cashing out nothing up. We just offer to buy that man lunch. Like, yo, you got all the technology stuff. You go set up for sure.
We got to hook him up for sure. I'm gonna let Bashea handle that because he got the most bread.
Oh, we got to be on our best behavior. Somebody gave us a heads up and said that people from the NAACP and OWN may be hopping on.
Oh, okay.
Oh, really?
I'm gonna still be me, but you guys should probably change how you're behaving.
Well, I don't know. I don't think any of us could do that.
Right.
I feel like they came to my event, right? Like,
right.
I don't invite you to my house and then you tell me how to behave in my house. You're like, I'm here. This is what you get.
Nah, man.
Somebody said they picked up Bashea's book yesterday. Got BX in Brooklyn, Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, Isaiah, what's good with you, bro? Carolinas, South Jamaica.
Carolinas.
All over.
Hey, look, don't even act like that, G. See, you know what I'm saying? He wanna act up in front of company and stuff.
Nah. I told you, man. Hey, man. My childhood necessitates that I gotta lean into being me. Experiences like being bussed out to a predominantly white school at elementary. I'm like, yo, I'm big, I'm black, and I'm gonna be that. That's what it is.
I'm big and I'm black and I'm gonna be that.
There it is. Deal with it. I'm absolutely comfortable.
That's right. All right, we're gonna get rolling. I know Bashea should be
You don't know his itinerary, man. Stop telling the people. Hey, have you seen those bees where like we're with this bees for a black person? Like I'm on the way. It's like they haven't left yet.
Nah. He's not. He's on.
Aaron's like, yeah, he on his way home. Bashea is like at the airport. Like,
yo, Aaron told something. Bashea was on his way to the crib, and Bashea was still on Instagram Live doing the interview and stuff.
No, legit. Because I watched him sign off, and then he hit me when he was in the car. You know when somebody's in the car, and he literally got off.
Now, the way technology works, man, I don't know where you guys are, man. Like, legit. Like, Rashawn be broadcasting from air. Like, where are you at right now, bro?
Hey, man, look.
See?
Hey, look.
See?
I ain't even gonna lie.
Hey, man, I'm on Earth. Like, that's...
Thank you.
I'm around. I'm around. Just do that. Just know I'm around.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make sure that it's broadcasting to Facebook and stuff first. That's the main thing I'm trying to do before we get started. Support. Shut up.
Man, I'm just giving you extra titles. All right, man. You're the director of IT.
I don't need no extra titles. Shoot.
I'm saying, why not, man? Director of IT, man. You can do it all. That's not on your IG, man. We got to put that out there. Like, hey, just in case you needed somebody that could get your systems right, Rashawn could do that too. Hey, don't turn down money, bro. If they want to cash you out to do it.
But that's the thing. They ain't offering no money. They want you to do it for free. There's a difference.
There it is.
There's a difference. A big difference.
Hey, Aaron, next time you in charge of the technology portion.
You're gonna be disappointed because I'm not blessed in that area. I'm not. I'll try, but I'm not blessed in that area. That's not.
I'm not. I don't know that. I'd rather just pay somebody to do it.
I know my strong suit.
There you go. Oh,
you got a Dr. Anita shirt though. I gotta get me one, Sean.
Oh yeah. Dr. Anita, yo, that's the homie. It's just, prayer is a weapon, therapy is a strategy. By Dr.
Anita. I was literally about to order it, and then I was looking for the PayPal joint because when you got to go get up and get your wallet because I don't know my credit card. I'll be like, oh man, and it's like
that don't throw you off.
Yeah, and Dr. Anita, I gotta get her shirt, but that moment where it's like, am I gonna get out the bed to get my credit card?
Nah, you didn't. You didn't do it.
Right.
He didn't do it. He's like, am I going to? Nah, we know the answer to that. Nah, you're not. You're not gonna do it.
But absolutely not.
Yeah, but because sometimes I look for the PayPal. When I have the PayPal in there, I don't need to. Then I just sign in on the PayPal and I can just do it through PayPal.
There you go.
But I gotta cop that shirt. And we got that shirt from Stevon.
Oh, this is the homegirl, man, Nia. She's a therapist, Nia Ridgel, man. It says Black Therapists Matter.
What's her page?
What is it called? Nia Ridgel Consulting. RIDGLE.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Yes, sir. She does a thing. What is it called? With the Black Kings. Like she has a thing, like a group she runs.
Yeah, she just had something the other day, right?
Yep. She sure did.
Yeah, I remember that. I saw that. And I'm trying to. All right, let me send that.
Oh, I'm tired.
Pretty tired.
Man, y'all East Coast, man. Like this is late.
It's 9:00 over here in East
Coast. It's 6:12. 6:12.
Nah, it's real. All right. Man, I know the people probably like, yo, we ain't come up here to listen to y'all.
Yeah, but this is about kicking it about real conversation.
Yeah, man, we hanging out. You don't want us to hang. Look at me again. Everybody's a party pooper, man. They got to be their way.
Nah, we're going.
Nah.
This is what we do. We talk about random stuff. We try to support other Black therapists and other Black folk, right? Like Black businesses, and then we get on some realness.
Yeah. Right. Nah, so what I'm gonna have to do is cut this off from. I'm gonna cut this off from Twitter and make sure I put it on Facebook.
Deuces to Twitter.
Nah, because it wouldn't stream to the same joint.
Well, it's personal, so Twitter can't be a part of it, man. They blocked it. Twitter need to put some money behind us so we can get them in.
I don't even know how you're gonna do all of that.
If they give us enough money, we'll figure it out. Don't worry about that. If they give us enough money, we'll be on Twitter. I guarantee you that much.
Oh,
man. Make it happen.
Yeah. Okay. All right. But no, so welcome everybody, man. I wanted to just, I know we're still waiting on Bashea to come, but hopefully he'll chime in soon. But yo, good evening to everyone. I know it's after 9 o'clock on the East Coast, but Stevon, he's on the West Coast. But welcome to What's Good, Bro, Brotherhood, mental health check-in. We did this last time, man, back in June, man, and it was as a result. Oh, let me turn my music down. I'm sorry, y'all. It was as a result of all of the stuff that's been going on in the world, whether the pandemic, the civil unrest, and then at that particular time, Mr. George Floyd had passed away. Mm-hmm. And so we felt like we wanted to just come together as 4 Black men, 4 Black therapists, but then also we're homies as well. So we just wanted to come chop it up. We talk about mental health. We talk about how certain things affect us, but then also just provide the audience with certain tips and trades that we've experienced just as clinicians, but then also, as Black men and understanding our experiences. So definitely feel free to drop questions and stuff into the chat. We're going to be here tonight for an hour. I know last time we did a couple of hours, but tonight we're going to do it for an hour because we wanted to announce that, we're going to do this monthly. So through the rest of the year. So we wanted to make sure we give people time, but then also if we don't get to your questions, man, we make sure that we'll archive those and, maybe have those lined up for the next session. So I guess I'll go ahead, fellas, go ahead and introduce yourselves, man, and then we can go from there.
Yeah, so I'll start. My name is Arron Muller. I am a licensed social worker from Queens, New York. Also founder of Black Male Therapists, which is a group on Facebook, about 700 plus therapists from around the country, and founder of Black Kingsley Therapy 2, which is a movement encouraging Black men to go to therapy. I think that's it.
There you go. I guess it's me. I am Stevon Lewis. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. I'm based out of Southern California, Inglewood to be exact. I work with individuals struggling with imposter syndrome, so that's my go-to. I'm like Mr. Imposter Syndrome. That's where I live. That's where I love. That's where stuff happens. I was a resident therapist on Love Goals, the unscripted series on OWN, and I've been on the Love Hour podcast with Kevin on Stage.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I see you doing that, man. That's dope.
Yeah, man. I try to get out there, be visible, be seen.
That's dope, man.
Yeah.
Try. It ain't no
right. This ain't right.
What I can, man. I was out there, right?
Right. Stop playing humble. Talking about. And then you just went quickly over on OWN, the legendary OWN network.
It was on Oprah Winfrey Network. It was.
That's amazing right there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And when I screenshot you sitting down with Benzino, and I said,
"You did that. You went to the archives to get that one.
You sat down with Benzino and really,
try to help that brother.
Yeah, I think that was dope, man. We sitting among royalty, Rashawn. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I got a question even for that. Like, how is it to as in that profession, and a lot of times, you know, you're working with individuals in a private setting, but you're actually on TV doing this thing. So man, you know, you got therapists looking at you like, oh, he ain't do that right, or he ain't
Right.
Right.
like,
That's the hard part. That critical judgment from other therapists. People don't realize that about the therapy community. Therapists can judge other therapists harshly.
Yeah, because I know I do.
He gonna out himself. He gonna at me. I said it. I did it.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. I mean, have you guys been in like any of those Facebook groups, like with other therapists, and like,
oh man,
you present something in there, like, oh man, I did
never.
this. Oh, you're not supposed to do stuff like
yeah,
that.
They were like, what kind of therapist are you? The
Right.
worst of them. Like, nah, I don't present in them groups because they get ratchet.
Oh, you not. That's not you though.
Nah.
Okay.
I just do it. You know, I just do it on TV. Like, you know, watching like, what's that show there? 600 Pound Life, and watch a therapist on there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But just, you know, me and my wife just be chopping it up, laughing. But
oh
not,
yeah,
you know,
she's also a therapist, correct?
Yeah. Right. So
Bashea,
you get that disclaimer. She's also a therapist too. So you know,
couples therapy shade, like that's awesome. No, but it's cut though. But I feel you, Rashawn. Like that's what it is. It's like part of in the back of my head, like while I'm out there, it's like I need to be present with this dude and I need to help him. But then like going into it, you're like, people gonna really be judging your boy. Like if it's
right.
not what they think I should have done. But like I said, man, I lean into me. So you know.
I mean, so when you're on that show, like, I mean, when you're really trying to help someone, especially from a celebrity standpoint, man, what was that experience like being able to be able to help someone that, you know, or do you think they even received the help, or, you know, on that particular stage?
So it's a weird thing. Like you're spending so much time with them that like you get to kind of, you know, you see and experience them just as human beings, just like you kind of do with time, over time with like your own clients. And so like you forget that the cameras are there. You were just operating at that point. And so like I really wasn't aware, like, you know, cameras in the room, but you know, when I'm talking to them, I'm right there, you know, present, focused, and in the moment.
right. That's dope.
Definitely. Oh, I mean, well, we were buying time for our fearless leader to join in.
Yes, leader of our crew, Bashea.
Yes, he pulled up from the you know, in the Maybach.
Yep.
Into the grand garage. Yes, he has entered the building.
What up? How's
everybody? Hey, what up, man?
Chilling.
Yo, so we wanted to make sure that we chilled out for a second, but we just did introductions and things, man. But you know, it's on you. You go ahead and drop your intro.
Yes, I am Paul Bashea Williams, licensed clinical social worker in the DMV area. I own and operate Hearts and Mind Counseling, where I service our community. 90% of my population is Black. I love working with couples, but I love working with Black men and Black boys as well. So yeah, that's who I am. I am the author of Dear Future Wife, A Man's Guide and a Woman's Reference to Healthy Relationships. And the second edition is coming out October 9th. There's going to be some switches up, some changes, and you need to go ahead and get that. But I am also, I think the last time he was on here, I wasn't married yet, but I'm a new married man. I'm a whole husband now. Husband now. So yeah, so that's why I was late. My wife and I, we had we had another show. We had another show that we was doing that they had technical difficulties, and we were supposed to start at like 7:15. We didn't get started till 8 o'clock. So we got done at 8:50. So we had to rush over here. So, but yeah, I'm here.
No, you here. You present, man. You right where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there.
Right.
Yeah. We know. We made sure
the hardest working man in therapy.
Right. Definitely.
How y'all feeling though?
Hey, we're good, man. I guess, you know, I'll introduce myself and then we can go into it. Rashawn Miller, licensed mental health counselor based out of Charlotte, North Carolina. Founder of Eustress Inc., which is a nonprofit to raise mental health awareness in Black and Brown communities. Also, author of Injured Reserve, a Black man's playbook to manage being sidelined by mental illness, and recently released Why You Stressing Journal, which is a guided 31-day journal to help you understand the things that pour into your mental health, whether that be the good things or the bad things. So it's a tool so everyone could get into journaling. What else? I think that's about it, man. Also co-founder of the Good Stress Company, which is my private practice based here in Charlotte. We deal with kids, adolescents, adults, couples, groups. We do a lot of different things here, man. But no, I'm excited to be here with my brothers. We always laughing and joking, and just so much. So many things that we discuss, just based off of just not only just being therapists, but then also being Black men in this country, let alone this world, and understanding that we go through so many things. But I guess I just wanted to, one of the things we start off with our conversation. Y'all know I'm normally the quarterback, and I'm facilitating certain things, but that's just because I'm the youngest one and they made me do it. So just so y'all know that.
The disrespect, the blatant disrespect, man.
Yo, Rashawn, I almost wore that shirt, yo. I almost wore that shirt.
Hey, we gotta support Dr. Anita, yo. That's the whole
man. I'm gonna get mine.
Yeah.
I don't have my wallet because I would have did it right now. My wallet. I'm a copy.
No.
Hey, so Bashea, Arron was on here like, yo, man, I was about to buy that shirt. But
I love Dr. Anita.
And I was get up and get your wallet, and I was in the bed, so I didn't make it happen.
And I love Dr. Anita. I definitely have to apologize to her because I have to get that. I have to get that shirt.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't know what y'all talked about previously.
But we were just chopping it up.
We was waiting for the quarterbacking.
Yeah. No, we started off. I want to first of all, we check in like, yo, round robin, yo, how fellas doing, man? I want to know, check in to see how we doing, and then we get into it.
Okay. Who want to go first? Well, I'll go first, yo. For me, like I'm stretched, I'm exhausted, especially for our people. I'm on a high right now because I just did something with my wife. But prior to that, all day, my day was heavy. Yesterday and today, and I was just really like struggling, and having to really show up for clients as well, and dealing with the state of the nation, man, and just us in general, and Black women and Black men and Black boys, Black girls. Man, I listen. I was really struggling for the last 2 days. I still am. I'm trying to process it. Just made another session with my therapist on Monday. We got to connect and so I can kind of deal with what I'm feeling right
now. Yeah.
No, definitely relate.
Yeah. That's why in our group chat today I put I'm just tired for a number of reasons. What's going on, definitely, and just trying to do so much, you know what I'm saying? So, but I also feel very grateful. I feel very blessed, not, just monetarily, but just feel very fortunate and blessed as well. So but I'm just, tired too, about, what's going on, and just trying to just pace myself. I'm really learning one day at a time, and focusing on positive thinking a little bit, and using positive affirmations for myself, and saying positive things, as I'm trying to do different things and different ventures, and just being more optimistic, and just still trying to be present for my family, and my wife is really, I'm excited because she's venturing out and doing her own branding. She's been, very supportive with me, and I'm always pushing her to do her own thing. Because she prides herself on being a mother, but she's also an accomplished psychologist, and I always want her to push and do the things that she want to do. So I'm excited that she is aligning herself to venture out and do her own thing. So I'm very excited about that, and pushing and encouraging her. And then on top of that, we're moving. Moving in.
Where did that come from?
No, moving in. So like moving in, we just renovated the house during COVID time. So now we're actually like getting furniture. A lot of things were on hold. Okay. So I'm gonna take some time off from the practice and actually like set up the house, because you see the only thing that's on the wall is a TV. There's nothing else here.
Y'all was staying in the guest house this whole time.
Right. So the guest house out back. I'm gonna ride with Bashea because It's almost midnight and I'm tired. So I'm gonna just let him ride with that. So we stayed in the guest house, and now we can move into the main estate. So I'm gonna stop.
Wow, that just happened. Just happened.
So you know what? I'll play along with him.
Actually, Bashea's been there, so he knows.
No. I've been to his.
He's that big baller brand.
I've been to his estate. You know what I'm saying? Nah. But yeah, so some great things happening, but I'm also exhausted as well. So trying to navigate all of that.
Yeah.
I think same for me. So like, I think I try to balance it, right? Like talk about like, everything so that people get a holistic view. Like, life is good, business is going well. I leveled up a bit. I got incorporated. So I'm official, right? No more riding dirty. I'm official business. So that's like a level up. Like business has been really good. I've been doing more speaking engagements and like, kind of corporate level stuff. So going into organizations and, doing some of that race relations stuff, which is kind of fueling for me. Like it's therapeutic, right? It's a way I get to go into these spaces and hold people accountable or have those difficult discussions or conversations. And I don't feel bad about it at all. Like I don't work there, whatever. There's no holding back. So we're going to go and be as real and raw. And whatever we get is what we get. And so I've been doing a lot of that stuff. And so it's been really good. But yeah, like the stuff just going on socially is like really draining, I think is the word I used earlier when we were chatting in the group text or whatever. It's just like, yeah, just kind of emotionally just drained. I mean, we'll talk about this, I'm sure, but like the verdict comes out and it's like, it's not surprising, but it's like, damn, and I think it's still like, it's so much of that. And I, like when I said that or whatever, and it's like, I guess when I was talking about like the last time we got together like this was around the murder of George Floyd. And you were like, I was like, man, it seems like we schedule these things not like knowing that something's going to happen, but something tends to happen. And then Bashea was just like, yeah, because they keep killing us. And I was just like, ouch. He's not wrong, and I think like that's just dealing with that. It's that vicarious trauma of just like, yo, here we are again.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree. I'm tired, bro. Like, I mean, I think the last time we talked about it in June, just like, being exhausted, as working as therapists, that is something that is, it's mentally draining already. But, we persevere through a lot of things, but then also we understand that we got to show up and be there for our people and continue to strive forward, but then also still find ways to take care of ourselves during this particular time. I know just conversations with you all, man, that brings joy to my day because of the fact that we laugh and joke about some of everything. And it's more like a brotherhood for real. When we were able to, have certain discussions and still find the joy in it, but then also we can have real discussions about the pain that comes with everything too. So I think we'll be remiss to not, we briefly skimmed over it, but then also just to really hit heavy on the verdict that was rendered yesterday when it came down to Breonna Taylor. I mean, and then to be honest with you, most of us on this call probably already, we knew what was coming. We just didn't know when, into what fashion. I think, one of the main things, excuse me, one of the first things I wanted to bring up, as we look at that entire situation, from, we're all men, and so we have a certain privilege as being men, but then also understanding the responsibility that we need to have when it comes down to protecting our Black women. And so, I mean, I guess just wanted to, start with that. I guess I'll start with the newlywed. Cool. As you think about, everything that went down with Breonna Taylor, but then also, just everything that goes on in our world. And I know we talk about just the plight of the Black man and the things that we deal with, but then how does that role play into the way you look at stuff, as far as, because you have a new wife, and then also you have a new stepdaughter as well. So, so like, what is that? How does that play into the way you perceive this world, but then also how you address those things?
So many different ways, man. It's just like, and I was telling this story the other day. I recently, was it last year? I went to a brain spotting training down in Atlanta, and so it was for persons of color, and so it was like 88 people there, right? But it was only 5 men. out of that and we were all professional clinicians in private practice or whatever, worked for industries or whatever it was. But we were in there, and I played small because I didn't want to seem like a threat to anybody. I didn't want to seem like I wanted to holler at anybody. I just wanted to make sure everybody was okay. And I knew just my presence alone, being that, and the only single man there, I didn't want to create any type of situation. And I didn't want people to think that I wanted to either deal with or talk to or, flirt with anybody. So I kind of played small. I walked into the train and it just sat in a corner and didn't really say anything. And there was people there that I knew that I didn't even really get to see the first day because I didn't give eye contact. So I'm thinking about how I can play small, and that's in some way protecting the woman. But if something pops off, I know I need to show up for everybody. So there was a time at the end of we were going through processing something, and a woman stood up. She said, "Who protects us? Who protects us, Black women? We protect everybody, and nobody protects us." And I wanted to stand up and say, "I protect y'all." But I knew I couldn't, because in my mind, that was might be setting off a different signal. In my mind, that was saying something that's some of the stuff that I had to deal with. And then I had to do some replays of my previous relationships. Have I always protected Black women? Right? And this is before I was married. Have I always been the best man in a relationship? Just those things pop up for me. And being in the space that I am, writing and talking about relationships and trying to make sure everybody's good. And now that I have a responsibility, I had a responsibility to my mother, my sisters, my aunts, whoever it is. I'm always the one that kind of step up, and I'll take the heat for whatever, because I want them to be okay. So now I'm doing this for my wife and my daughter. So now I have to protect them. So it's like, if anything pops up, just now, it took me an extra 5 minutes because my wife wanted to go to the mailbox. So I could have ran up here and jumped on here, but I was like, I ain't going up here until I know my wife is safe and she's good in the house to make sure she's okay. So that's how it pops up for me, and especially in my practice too, seeing women and making sure they're good and making sure that I'm not coming off any type of way, making sure the boundaries are strong. And it's so many different ways I go online and just making sure the women are okay. But I know I can't save everybody.
Right.
Yo, I know, Stevon, you've been married for a good little minute too, man. How does it show up for you when it comes down to protecting women, especially in particular Black women?
For sure. So like for me, I think it's my experience is that I am the youngest of three. I have two older sisters and moms, so like I am used to being told what to do by women, right? But like also knowing that like once given directions, execute, right? And so I think for me that I am absolutely super protective of Black women, like wife included too, of making sure like I'm always constantly kind of thinking, are you good? Are you taken care of? Did I don't want you to have any need, because I know how Black women have shown up for me in my life, and like what you see before you as a result of that, like not just family or my wife having my back, but like Black women have just put me on in career, given me opportunities. They look out for your boy, like that's just what it is. And so for me, I think that in that sense, I am constantly kind of thinking like, am I showing up and being present and being kind of what they need in the moment for them? And I think that like that's just kind of something that permeates me, that I'm thinking 3, 4, 5 steps ahead of like, hey, you know what, wife is gonna be getting home later, and I got home earlier, so make sure I hit the porch light, right? So like the lights on in the driveway, as soon as she pull up, I'm at the door, opening door, what I mean, making sure that like she doesn't have to fumble for keys to unlock the door. Just little things, right, that I'm thinking about to make sure her life is easier, right? And I think that comes from training, again, like having grown up in a household where being the youngest, but like also I've learned how, because being around women, like Black women, how to be super attentive.
Yeah, and I feel like whatever small part I could do for the women in my community, in my life, I feel like that's making a difference and showing up for Black women. I mean, I wish I could do it for everybody, but I can't, you know what I'm saying? But in terms of like being raised by my mom and all her high school friends are like my aunts, so it's like 5 of them that we all grew up, all their kids grew up together. So we learned how they how they connected and became a community, and they all kind of took care of each other. And I kind of learned from all of them. And that's how I show up for my mom and my grandmother now. my mom is single. So even so, I make sure that I speak to her in the morning and I speak to her at night, make sure that she's good. My grandmother, I handle all her finances. I just don't leave them to flounder, you know what I'm saying? And in the same breath, being available for my wife as well, so trying to, as a husband, juggling, taking care of, making sure my mom is good, and my grandmother's good as well, you know what I'm saying? And then my own wife is a lot to juggle, but, to whom much is given, much is required, So I just do what I have to do for the Black woman in my life and, being available and attentive to everybody's needs as best as I can.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. I appreciate your boys sharing, man. I think for me, just understanding, all of those things that you all mentioned, some of those practical things. I think Alexander said, protect Black women seems like the phrase of the moment, but what would that look like in a practical sense? And I think y'all mentioned some of those things.
Yeah, we definitely did.
Yeah, but I think, but then even I think for me, including those things, but then also learning more about how my privilege impacts women, especially Black women, and like you said, Bashea, my presence in certain instances, and being more cognitive of that, and I mean, it's going to take some unlearning to do, because like the thing like Bashea said, he was like, have I always protected Black women? Answer, to be frank with, is no, not in all senses. From the aspect, we always want to protect our mom, we always want to protect our sisters, we always want to protect our girl cousins, or all of those things. But then you think about the relationships and stuff that you've been in, and we don't always step up to the plate when it comes down to that, or sometimes we don't step up to the plate when women are not present. And I think that's another thing that we actually have to do is, when it comes down to talking to your boys or whoever else, and they talking derogatory about a woman, or, any type of way, and and do we actually really step up to have that conversation like, yo, that's wrong.
Right.
That's not something that you should say, or that you need to change your frame or about that, or I can't even rock with you anymore about that. And I think that's some of the things that I'm transitioning into as I get older and learn more. Anybody else want to, jump in on that?
Yeah.
But I mean, sorry, Bashea, you could go.
I was going to say there's another level of it too. Like, you talk about relationships with a woman, you're in a relationship. When things get hectic and you know that you should not be in that relationship with them, protecting them is also walking away. Like, we don't stay in a toxic situation when a woman is attacking us. And like, sometimes that silence of not telling our story is still protecting them. And a lot of people don't even realize that part of it too. But walking away from that relationship and just not staying inside that relationship that is toxic, you don't want to be there. And that comes with our work on ourselves. The more we know ourselves and we protect ourselves, we'll show up better for these relationships for women. It's just a better dynamic in general. We know we're not even going to accept any type of craziness that would try to attempt to come into our lives. And that's also a level of protection, getting away from that thing.
Right. But that comes with like insight and awareness, because, I coined it that hood love. That hood love is very attractive. You know what I'm saying? Y'all arguing, then y'all go to Red Lobster afterwards. And then, and then it's kind of this cycle of just like fun, when it's fun, and then it's up and then it's down. And then, they don't really recognize that, that's not appropriate. Some of these behaviors, some of these things, you know what I'm saying? But hood love is very attractive, because I always felt slighted because I'm boring. I'm very predictable, you know what I'm saying? In terms, and also, and some women don't like that, you know what I'm saying? They like, you know what I'm saying? So I had to accept that I don't bring and present that, you know what I'm saying? And then working with clients, they realize, you help them realize that, wow, maybe some of these behaviors is not appropriate as well. You know what I'm saying? So really coming to that awareness of walking away. You know what? This is not healthy for both of us, and we need to walk away.
I think what resonated for me when Rashawn was talking was the part about like those conversations when women aren't present, right? Like, so, early in my career, I went through a training for a sexual assault crisis agency to kind of be a, sexual assault crisis counselor, which is an odd thing. Like, me being most males are like perpetrators of sexual assault against women. And these were like, going to be showing up at the hospital and stuff like that. But like going through the training, like I didn't get to do that part, but I did get to like run a group with like young, like adolescent boys and start talking about like masculinity early on and all that stuff. But I think, like, to your point is that working at the university and, kind of, rape happens on college campuses. So, in talking about that and having other men be in the conversation and, the kind of, I guess that blaming, the victim blaming that happens, right? Where, say, well, what was she wearing or all that stuff. And like, something I learned early on kind of in that training I went through was this idea of like, well, what offense, right? Like could a woman make to make it so that like rape is the appropriate punishment? Right. And it's like, we can't think of anything. And so like, having that language to be able to say that in a room felt like, to me, like an opportunity to protect. Right. And it's like, how often do we have that opportunity and then do we capitalize and seize on it? Right. And I think that's kind of what you're alluding to of like, am I showing up when, it's not all eyes on me, but, I have an opportunity to be there.
Yeah. So how can we challenge, brothers to actually feel comfortable with saying, nah, bro, you're wrong for saying that. Because if I hear that from somebody, I'm like, so where's that hurt coming from? That's going to be but that's because I'm a clinician and you hearing that's definitely some pain or something you've been through. But if we have two hurt brothers that have a trauma bond together, who's going to hold each other accountable as they bashing, women about the experience, their experiences and things like that? Who's going to hold the other one accountable when there's two hurt people? And when you hurt, we say hurtful things, you know what I'm saying? So how can we help, brothers like recognize how they could show up different?
I think about just showing up different. I mean, we got to keep having these conversations. We got to keep pushing the narrative. If I fell out with one of my homeboys from high school because, he was married, I love everything about marriage. I wasn't married. And then he stepped out on his wife and was like, yo, meet me at this pool, so we can play pool. And he showed up with another lady. And I was like, I was hurt because, I know your wife, we cool. Like, what am I supposed to do? I'm the godparent of the kids. And it was just like a whole bunch of stuff. But I understand that he had stuff going on in his relationship that I didn't know about. But I kind of checked him on it and we fell out until we were able to have a mature conversation. So sometimes you got to fall out before you can, and rebuild and then come back and say, yo, I ain't like what we was doing, but that's the maturity and understanding yourself too.
Right. True. Right. All of that.
And I think to that point is also, you can't be afraid if you're standing on a moral ground, man, and you standing on a virtue, man, if your boy don't rock with it, man, sometimes you just got to cut those ties. Right. And you can't be afraid to let that stuff go. And I mean, and then maybe sometimes, they may see the light and then other times they may not. I mean, sometimes you gotta switch up your circle. Cause I mean, how many of your boys from, growing up are you still that close with, cause I mean, to be honest with you, I even got to check some of, just to be some of my frat brothers on certain things like, yo, no, like that ain't right, bro. Like, like what you're saying, Nate, like for one, it makes no sense. And then, but for two, like, no, that is not how things are supposed to happen. Like, you're speaking from a place of privilege, and you sound very misogynistic. And I know I'm not perfect, but I'm still trying to work on checking myself on those certain things. So as I check myself, I'm gonna check you too.
Right.
Right. That's
and
cool.
I think the question is, you ask them, you're not coming from like a judgment standpoint. You're coming from,
right.
It ain't like you're trying to call them out. You calling them up is what I say. So we're having a conversation. Say, like, bro, you know how that's gonna end. We're gonna have the same cycle, and you could be dealing with the same stuff. And you speak to them not from a judging perspective, but also from your experience, because they know you too. So you can't come like all high and mighty.
Right.
Like, bro, you remember that sounds like the same situation. You remember what happened to me? It's like, yeah, you're right, bro. You're right. So let's change the game, man. What do you want to do? They want to operate like that. It's like, all right, well, you know what you're doing.
Right.
No, I feel it. Like, I'm the king of asking questions. Like, I hear the plan. Here's what you're about to do. All right, what is your goal? What are you trying to accomplish? Just so you can hear yourself say what you're trying to accomplish. And then like when you lay it out and I'm like, yeah, I don't know if that's going to get you where you're trying to get to. Right. Like I'm telling you that, like you said, Bashea, at the end of the day, you're a grown man. Stevon Lewis can't control what another man does, only control me and what I do. But I'm like, hey, if that's where you're trying to get to, then maybe this is not, the way to do that.
Right.
But still giving them that leverage. And so like I think the liberty to be able to make their own decisions, like you said, you don't want to come from a place of judgment because I'm not perfect. I don't think anybody on this call is perfect or acting like they are. Everybody's human and it's varying degrees of that imperfection. But like trying to say, hey man, if what your goal is this, I don't think how you're trying to approach that is going to get there. And if you want, alternatives, I can help you figure that out. But just so we're clear, don't think that doing this is going to get you X.
We know who our boys are, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we know who's going to give us what. Like if I know, if I know I want to do something wrong, I know the person that I can talk to.
Right.
Somebody's going to check me. I'll talk to him, and I might be like, man, I ain't trying to hear this dude, but let me run it because I know, you know what I'm saying? So we got those people in our lives, and we can really utilize who those people are. So we know who they are.
Right.
Agreed. I think one of the things that we talk about, we're speaking from 30 plus older Black men, and let's talk about like how do we set this foundation for the young Black men that are coming behind us, to teach them how to ingrain in them the protection of Black womanhood. I seen a video on Instagram earlier today where one of my homies, my homegirls posted it. It was these two individuals that were going around and asking Black boys, do you prefer Black girls or white girls? And they were kept saying, we like the white hoes because they do whatever and all of those things. So for one, so there's two different layers to this. For one, it's the protection of womanhood, and we view women as human beings and not sexual objects. But then also the other layer is the protection of Black women, because we know that they face so many other things in addition to what as far as being a woman and being Black. So like, how do we start to ingrain, this type of protection of womanhood within our young men, whether that be your sons, whether it be your nephews, people that you're mentoring, or any of those particular things?
That's a hard question. That's a hard question. I mean, like,
the
question is like, is there an exact answer? Like, if I had that, I'd be a much richer person.
I know.
So like, not having the exact answer.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of the same conversations we have with our boys about like holding them accountable or how we hold ourselves accountable in certain situations, and kind of saying like, hey, I don't know everything, but here's what I do know. Like, I used to work on a high school campus, and I ran a tutorial center. Compton Dominguez High School. And so like being there and working with those kids and like, kind of trying to instill stuff that I knew that they maybe weren't getting. So like, I'm telling them, are you being productive today was my question to them every time they walked into the room. Are you being productive today? Oh yeah, I'm being productive, Ms. Lewis. All right, what did you do? And it's like talking about, I think like Bashea was saying, it's like starting that narrative, right? Like having that conversation early on about stuff. So it's like, oh, you got a girl you're trying to talk, what's going on with that? How are you treating her? Like, what is your goal? What are you trying to accomplish? And it's like, if I hear too much of one thing, like, well, do you think about other things besides like the fact that she looks good and you think she's attractive or whatever? Like, what else does she offer that you're interested in? And if nothing, it's like, well, then maybe you need to start thinking about that. Like, like what else are you trying to get or trying to achieve by being in a relationship with her?
I think also meeting them at where they are. Having a conversation. I had a contract before school shut down with alternative school. So I'm going in there to see the young boys who are dealing with the juvenile system or just dealing with truancy, whatever it is. And I'm meeting them where they are. So we're having conversations, like I'm checking on them and I'm speaking my language. I don't have to go in there and pretend like I know what the lingo is, even though I come from there. I used to see these white teachers and principals coming in. It was like, trying to use the slang and stuff like that. They're not going to respect that. They laugh that you know it, but when it comes down to discipline, they're not going to respect you because now they're going to see through you. But if I meet you where you are, and I also can share some stuff like, I remember when I was your age, this happened. I remember around this time, this happened. You know where that's going to lead. Like, let's look at this cycle because this happens. I also contracted with some of my boys that got locked up. If they're looking for work, I would have them come and talk to the kids and tell them about their experience, what their thought process was and how they got to where they were, why they end up spending Fed time or whatever it is. It's like, let's come in and again, let's have these real conversations and meet them where they are.
I agree. You guys are talking real intense.
Aaron,
uh,
Aaron's like, yo, I had a long day. Y'all going heavy.
yeah, y'all
But
going real,
definitely,
and I'm learning a lot for real. 'Cause I really don't have anything. I'm learning from y'all. You know, I'm really learning, and I appreciate it. People say I look tired, right? No, I'm really appreciating this conversation and learning a lot from you guys. But you know what? Something that popped into my mind is like, you know, modeling, right? Not modeling about what's as Black men modeling to the younger generation about, you know, what's appropriate and what's not. Because I feel like this culture of that being a gentleman is not cool.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it should, like, you think about it, there's a certain way that we have been taught as men, how, especially Black men, how we should conduct ourselves in regards to women. And that, you know what I'm saying, treat them as like we don't care about them, or we got mad girls, whatever like that. And that's more kind of, that bravado is doper than being a gentleman and actually caring and being considerate and thoughtful, right? And that's kind of frowned upon. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you corny for that. You know what I'm saying? You're like, so, you know, that narrative as well, I feel like that kind of adds to kind of the flavor of how women are how we don't stand up, because we don't value. You know what I'm saying? They're only valued for recreational purposes.
Recreational purposes.
That's powerful.
Yeah, when you say that, Mew, I think about just, you know, the influence of, you know, just the society in its entirety, but then hip hop and all of those things. And like, one of the things I think about when who was it? Was it Snoop Dogg? It was Snoop Dogg and DMX did their verses, bro. And when they were doing some of their music, I was like, yo, this joke would not fly.
Right, we hear the words, right?
Right? Like, I'm like, but we were raised on that, yo.
Right. Like, and you was
like,
pop locking, and everybody was pop locking and dropping to it.
I wasn't pop locking and dropping.
Yeah, I don't know if everybody
didn't do that.
But people, you know what I'm saying? But and now when you hear it as you mature, you be like, wow,
right.
Some of these lyrics. I mean, the beat's still hitting though, but the words is like, wow.
We complain about the words today. If you go and listen back to the words we was listening to, it's the same thing, just remix.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but okay. And so one of the things, so I wanted to read this comment from Devin. It said, just a thought. It could also help to recognize that it's our responsibility. Most of us are used to being protected by grandmas, mamas, sisters, and even female friends, and expect the Black women to protect us. Most of us are in the mindset to not protect the protector because that has been the culture. What y'all think about that, man?
That's deep.
I mean, that's my life story, right? Like I said, I mean, I started out this joint saying like Black women have grown into Stevon Lewis, and what you see before you is the result of that support, right? So, I mean, that's where's the lie, right? But then, I mean, I think it is that thing, and Rashawn has the thing where it's like, you know, check on your strong friend and like, you know, toss it out. But like, that's the thing. Like, you see, they're like superheroes in my eyes, right? Like, they do everything, they can do anything. They have made it happen for me. And so it's like, you know, how do you help the person who you think, you know, has it, that is like kind of superhero? And it's like, maybe it's not even like, I don't want to place a thing of where we're saying like, I don't have the intent or desire to. This is like, do I even know how? Like, how do you help somebody that you think doesn't need help?
Or tells you they don't need help.
Right.
That's another layer too.
Yep.
I mean, let's flip that. So when we're thinking about it, so we as Black men, and we know that we get some of those same things when it comes down to from, you know, our boys. When we say we look at them as strong and all this, that, and the third, but, you know, we know they need help on certain things. What are some of the same things that you do with them? A lot of times, you know, oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, because even with them, you know, sometimes you be like, yo, come on now. Don't BS me, man. I know something's wrong. I know you. I know you to the point where I can tell when something is wrong. And you know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's you got to check them on that. Even though we're looking at them like superheroes and we're looking at them like they're strong and they do all of these types of things. Like, nah, it's the point of letting them know that you recognize it, but then also letting them, you know, that you want to support them. But then also it's just asking a question. You know, how can I support you in this particular way? What do you need for me to do?
it's funny you're saying that because like in my mind, because we wear multiple hats, like I'm like, oh, as a therapist, I could do that with a client all day, right? But then like I'm thinking, damn, in my personal life, like damn, I really don't be checking in like that. And like I could, like I have the ability to, I have the skill set because obviously I'm doing it when I work with someone like I have a client. But like damn, like I could do a little bit more of that in just the in my own ecology kind of thing. And like I don't know, whatever you like when you were talking, Rashawn, like it just clicked for me right now. Like yeah, I do that with clients. And like why am I not doing that more on a personal?
Right.
We doing the same thing. We not showing vulnerability. Like we do it because again, we're clinicians, we wear multiple hats, so we check in on each other.
Right.
We don't let other people know that we're, something is going on. Nobody checks on us because we're always checking on everybody else, and that's what we do. We seem like we got it all together, but we, sometimes we have our days, we have our moments, we have our months, we have our weeks, whatever it is, and we're struggling, but we don't let anybody know that we're going through that either.
But but when someone is checking and say, how I'm here, or you sure you're right, that reassurance feels good. On Facebook, DJ Ingram said, telling y'all we don't need help is rooted in a fear you won't come through when we need help. Ooh. And that's accountability, that's insight, you know what I'm saying? That's awareness, you know what I'm saying? Being able to, and that's why Black Kings need therapy too, because having that ability, that awareness, that insight to stand up and be aware. Sometimes we can't because we don't have the ability to.
You should make a shirt that says that.
I should.
Do you think that's like something that is learned or has been passed down? Like I guess the way I'm thinking about it, of like there is, when we talk about privilege, right? Like we've got male privilege, but then there's also a thing of where being Black men, if we step up and do something, like, not to bring up like kind of that traumatic situation for you, Bashea, but like what you were going through, like you can't get too, like, I think there's something there. Like, I mean, am I making sense of like if you get too out there and be too tough or too something, not to, I mean, to people, like to the threats of Black women, like that's almost like, I don't know, it could be like death or detrimental. And I'm not saying like that's like a thing, but like in the past, that's been a thing for sure.
Yeah, I think there's so many levels to it, man. Like I try to go to Africa like once or twice a year, just try to get away. And when I went to Ghana,
right? Wow.
He had to put that out there.
No, I want to.
Once or twice a year. That is.
You know what them tickets cost? Let me Google them tickets.
Not as expensive as you think.
No. That was with the pandemic. Now it's probably $2. But I'm talking about before the pandemic. You was going.
All right. Let me pick out one of your photos and pick out one pair of your shoes, and that's my whole trip. That's my whole trip. Yeah. With food and drinks included.
Twice a year?
Let's hear about this Africa trip.
Let's hear about which Africa trip. Was it the first part of the year or the second one?
No, so when I went for New Year, I went for Christmas and New Year's, Ghana. So we went to the the dungeons, the slave dungeons, and they told me stories of what they took from us and how they treated us in general, and how they gave power to the women, but still had the women watching us being torn apart, watching us being raped, watching us being killed, and then us watching the women being raped and killed, and all these different things that they did to us. It started a cycle, and we carry that trauma to this day. It shows up to this day. So it's not just what happens, what we do today, it's what happened to us before, because we never really dealt with it. And we're still fighting that same system. It just looks different today.
Real talk.
So I guess, at what and so I understand there's so many layers to this, and then there's no direct answer to it. But then, where do we even start? We see, Breonna Taylor, and then, so many other Black people, especially Black women, that are victims of so many different things, period. Like, where do you even start to be able to address those things, in addition to address your own stuff, that we actually deal with, but, and still show up.
Right. And I feel like that is a great question. Yeah, how do you do that? I feel like if you don't have the tools, that you would definitely crumble. Even as clinicians, I think all of us can agree that that's a bit challenging because all those things you just described. But I always believe in taking small steps in what you can do. In your, like I said before, in your own community, but it starts with you. I didn't realize until I think I mentioned before, the last, like my birthday dinner, how much an impact you make on people in your own community by the small things that you do.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like if we all took stock in ourselves and assessing ourselves and working on being a better person individually, whatever work, chakra or sages you want to do, or praying or whatever you want to do, but working on becoming a better person, getting a eustress journal, you know what I'm saying? And working on yourself, whatever it takes, like finding a way to improve. And I feel like when you have like that awareness and kind of that space, I feel it gives you room to be present for others. Mine is upstairs. I should have got mine too.
Dad, I can't. You stay with the. I was going to. I almost had that.
Mine is upstairs. I got it. I copied it.
I'm not knocking it. I'm not. But you don't need to.
Sure. Then I told you I got it.
Yeah. You got it.
Back to your point.
Yeah. Stevon, come on. I was talking some good stuff here. You just going to...
I'm stopping, man. I'm stopping. I'm saying, like, you were making a really good point that I agree with. Right? Like, I think it is part of the small steps. I think we can do our bit to kind of influence that change, like in our own kind of spaces that we inhabit. Like, I think we minimize often, the impact that we have on others. Like, we say, oh, it wasn't a big deal, until someone says, like, well, no, this really influenced me in this way. And you're like, oh, wow, like I had no idea that what I was doing had that impact on you, right? And I think that, like, we move through life kind of not really showing or really talking or discussing, the things we do because it was routine or it wasn't a challenge. And I think the hard part is that we're looking for something tangible to have to do, right? Like, I did this behavior and got this outcome, or I impacted in this way. And oftentimes maybe it's not that. Maybe it's like, oh, I saw that you did this thing, and so I knew it was possible for me. And that has nothing to do with something you did for a person. Like, it's just like you said, like modeling, the person that you are, or just maybe even it's being visible, that, me being seen is an opportunity for somebody that looks like me to know that something else is capable. What we're doing today, what's good, bro, could be it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I think, and to that point though, Stevon, I wanted to read this one comment. I feel like it aligns with exactly everything that we're talking about. And honestly, I want to adopt this myself. It said, "This is a good convo. Can we start before the initial question of how can I help by asking, what can I do to allow you to feel comfortable allowing yourself to trust me to help?"
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, that's real talk. That's real talk. Because it's like, I think oftentimes because we are like helping professionals, we want to go to that place of being rescuer, savior, helper, but also saying, like, yeah, just because I've shown up, right? And I think this is kind of what to the Facebook comment was saying, is that, like, yo, do they trust that I have the ability to show up and support in the way that they need? Right. And so sometimes it could be like, yo, I got to break that barrier first. Hey, do you even trust me enough to help you? And if not, like, let me start there and do that work to let you know, like, I'm legit and I'm solid and I can be here for you. And then we can talk about what I can give or offer to you. And I think that's a really good way to look at that of am I being viewed in a way, Stevon Lewis, when I show up to be support to whoever, am I being perceived in the way that I am intending to be received?
And I think, what was great for all of us, and that's why we stay connected, the humility. Like, we're doing these things not really for us, like not really for our face to be here, or not really to show up and say, we got this, we got that. Yes, we have nice things. We do nice things for ourselves. That's because we like nice things for ourselves. We do nice things for ourselves. And that allows us to be available for other people. So people see us, who's like, yo, you're not trying to, force anything on me. You're not trying to help me to look better. You're just putting a product out there that helps me. And so it's the residual effect of us just showing up as Black men and just wanting to help.
Absolutely.
Legit. I mean, like part of my rhetoric, like even when I talk to like, potential clients and I'm doing like that initial kind of consult call, is that I say like, hey, regardless of whether you work with me or not, like I just want to make sure you get the support. So, no hard feelings there. Like, and I'm saying that at the outset, like, me not, whether or not it's going to be me, I'm okay with that. I just want to make sure you're connected to somebody. And so, it's like, hey, we're talking now, but we may get to the end of this call and you decide like, yo, Stevon, your fee's too high, or you don't take insurance or whatever reason, like, or you know what, I don't know that you understand trauma to this level that I have it going on and it's not for you. That's cool. I just want to get you connected to somebody. And I think like in my network, I probably know somebody. So, just trust me in that sense of like, I'm not out here pitching to, I have to be the therapist to everybody. It's like, I just want to help you get that support.
Right.
That's real. That's real because.
What do you want to say, man? He said something over here, man. He said something, man. Get out of here.
I agree, Stevon.
Hey, y'all can see that Mew he's the troublemaker of the group.
Facts.
No. What stood out for me was that his fees is too high. You know what I'm saying?
Come on, bro. Hey, nah.
Don't say no. I'm done. I'm finished. No. We're done.
Nah. What it is, it's like I price myself based on kind of what I think I'm worth.
No, I agree. You should. I don't. And as long as the person get the help, it don't have to be with me. I totally agree. As long as you get the services that you need, because that's our goal.
For sure. Like I'm saying, I don't drive. Like, what do you drive? You got a Rover? I don't drive a Rover because I can't afford a Rover. But you can. That don't mean Range Rover is not a great car. It's just like it's not the car for me.
I drive an all-American Chevy.
Okay.
Thank you. But I appreciate that.
Right.
I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? And I agree. Same thing. Just being available and providing a service. It doesn't matter who.
So I wanted to
go for it though.
No, go ahead. I'm reading. I wanted to read off like some of the comments.
Man. On Facebook is some great dialogue going on here.
Yeah, I'm talking. So we got even on Facebook. Jessica says that she says she's a victim of being a strong Black woman.
Wow.
And then Raven follows this up and says, "Same sis. I'm working to identify the symptoms of my strong Black woman syndrome and unlearn a lot of my ways. Ultra independence, fear of failure, lack of vulnerability, and etc." Right. Mm-hmm. And when I read that, I think we experiencing some of those same things, and it's a struggle, man. With but then also, so Brian follows up this comment and says, "Do you think Black men fail to step up because of fear of being unable to protect our Black women when we are trying like Kenneth Walker did for Breonna Taylor?"
Yeah, like going back to against historically, again, the message of what we were shown when we stepped up for them. We stepped up for our Black women. What happened to us? And so we didn't always give up, or we didn't always not protect, but there's been some times when we did show up and it didn't work out for us. Or when we showed up, we showed up short, and then the woman saw us as, you can't do it, so I'm gonna do it myself. So we have to unlearn a lot of these different things, thought processes, and all these conversations need to be different. They were talking about the strong Black woman. I used to joke with my wife about that because she was very independent. She still is strong, but I told her I wasn't afraid of your strength. And I said, your strength didn't make me less than what I can do. We're just going to complement each other. So we're having those conversations. And she has her thing where she's kind of talking to Black women about what that strength looks like and how it definitely sometimes separates us or puts a wedge before us really connecting on another level. But yeah, we could just have a different conversation about it. But it's definitely a fear to be able to try to show up for somebody, and then we feel inadequate.
But Bashea, to your point, I feel like while I hear with your wife, but you also showed up with your own stuff as well, with your own self-worth, with your own accomplishments. So what if the brother is not showing up with a master's degree, a Benz and the like?
No.
So what if he's not? So what if he's not? And we equate those things as accomplishments. So what if we're not showing up with the educational background, with money, right? And he's feeling slighted, So she have all these things, all these accomplishments, and he feel like, man, I can't compete with that. And I can't, so he doesn't have the space or the room to show up.
And I think we see that, right? But I guess when I the way I listen to it, right? Because it's one of those things of like, is that real or perceived, right? Like the inability to show up, like, because I mean, part of the way I operate in life is like, you get information from places. Sometimes stuff's not said verbally. Sometimes stuff is said, non-verbally, and sometimes stuff can contradict itself. Like the non-verbal can contradict the verbal or the rhetoric, and sometimes they can complement each other and line up and be congruous, right? And so I think, is it real or perceived? Like saying like, well, I don't, because I don't have XYZ, I don't have space or agency to fit in this person's life. And I'm like, well, is that real? Like, did they say that and
right.
make you feel that way? Or are they in relationship with you and they're okay with it? Because if they're okay with it, why are you tripping? Right? Like, that's some work you need to do on yourself about whether or not, you don't feel like, you
but
have.
But usually what it is Stevon, especially in this work, you find is their own kind of insecurity. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. I should be, or I should have this, or I should be bringing this to the table, right?
Look at those demands. Like, it doesn't give any room for anything else.
Yeah,
I should be. And it's like, well, if you don't get that, now you're saying you're a failure. And it's like, there's a spectrum for most stuff.
Right.
That's the identity stuff that, again, we talk about talking to our young men, our young boys about what it means to be a black man, what it means to being secure in yourself, regardless of what you're bringing to the table. You're good. Because I've been in a situation, when we first graduated with the master's in social work, the degree sounds good, but that pay doesn't.
Yeah,
no money, bro, none.
30, like you coming out of college with a master's degree making like 35, 40K.
Right. $36,000, bro. That's what I was making.
Right. And then I was in the DMV where majority of people like in the engineering and these all business jobs, and they're making a lot of money. So I was dating women who made 80, 90, 100K, but I was good because I knew I had a sense of self. I knew where I was going.
Right.
And if someone wanted to have a conversation about money, because I was a creative, I can create different, environments that looks like I got money, when I'm still, I'm trying to wait. I'm waiting for that direct deposit to hit, and I'm waiting for, where it is. But, I had to be creative because I wanted to have an experience and I didn't want it tied to money. But I think that's also, I did some work in college because in this field, we do work. And so we work on some of those things so we show up differently. But I think, again, we got to connect with our kids and our boys and tell them who they are before they try to show up and try to be this thing that they see online, or they, trying to emulate somebody who got a whole bunch of bread. And
like when you're saying that, it made me like, just what popped out was like that idea of like, you got to have self-worth or have some value independent of the things that you have in your life. Like, you got to know you are good and, valuable regardless of what car you drive. I mean, because when like you said, I mean, I had no money. I had a Honda with no air conditioning, and like the windows didn't work right. And California's hot, you know what I mean? But it's like, hey, what am I going to do? But, I also didn't feel like, maybe I shouldn't go. Maybe I shouldn't be here. I'm pulling up. What's popping, y'all? Like, I'm in here.
Right.
No, I agree. Outside of those things that we attribute to our value and success, those things that we pop tags on, you know what I'm saying? Because that's just, superficial, you know what I'm saying? It for the moment, it feels good, but it really doesn't really address or deal with, self-worth issues and things like that. And I feel like as Black men, I feel like that's the biggest thing that needs to be addressed. So a lot of people asking, how do we have these conversations with young men, is really having more conversations and allowing them to hear it, and let that be a dialogue that, us as fathers and uncles and godfathers, that we have these conversations with the young men in our community, and even allowing athletes, you know what I'm saying, because they're very influential. There's other radio personalities that's very big on mental health, and they talking a lot about that. So, and other celebrities, and they allow them to start going deeper into these conversations, deeper than mental health, but what specifically, especially for Black men and for Black women, what we need to do. And I love to push on Black love now too. And, so all of these conversations, I feel like it's important to have under the umbrella of mental health.
And
go ahead. Oh, I was just gonna say, y'all keep saying stuff that keep like my brain fired or stuff. Like when you say something, it triggers it. And it's like when Arron was just talking about that, it made me think of like, yeah, we got to start actually like, communicating to the young ones coming up. Like it's not, you aren't good because of what you did. You're just good just because, like, right? Like not tying it to like, oh, you got good grades or you're awesome on the field or on the court or, you know what I mean? Like, nah, it's not because of that. It's just, you as a human being, as a Black man, are just dope.
Yeah. And I like the conversation, you said conversation, communication. So we need to also allow them to have a voice too. I think sometimes we shut them down because we're like, I've been through that. So you don't need to talk, you just need to listen. And they detach from the conversation and they're looking like, you telling me because you're an old timer. I'm not gonna make the same decision, so let me find out for myself. But if we allow them to talk it out and give them a voice, then we have a better, like building rapport, having a better connection, having better communication. And also for women, we talk about how do we protect them, the basic needs of a Black woman. We need to ask them, why aren't we having those conversations? Include them in on, some of the, like, what does it mean for you to be protected? What do you need from me? And if they say something that's outlandish, that's their walk, right? And we can say, okay, well, that's not my position. That's not what I'm interested in, but we need to talk to each other.
And who's asking that question on a date nowadays? You know what I'm saying? I think that brothers actually asking those type of questions now, like really changing from the superficial, what's your favorite color, but really start having the, these in-depth conversations when you're like in a talking phase, like,
do you work with couples at all, Arron?
Yeah.
Like I don't know if I think everybody here works with couples. I know like you do kids stuff, so like like working in the school system or whatnot.
Yeah.
Like the fact that oftentimes you will see couples be in a relationship, and it blows my mind a lot of the times of like they've been in a relationship for a long period of time, like year plus or two, and it's like they probably asked more questions before they bought a car than they asked, like they're the person they're in a relationship. Like, you've been in a relationship with a person for 2 years and like you don't know this and
you ain't know that. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm not trying to judge you, but I'm very transparent.
Your face is very judgy.
Yes. Yo, that course in social work school, I didn't pay attention because I know they say don't show your face, but my facial expressions, it can't hide. I'm like, bro, what?
Yeah, I remember you on VH1. Like you was practicing on VH1 and you made this face when somebody, you was like,
I know. I definitely did. I was like, oh man. Yeah, but definitely.
Hey, yo, so I know that we said that, we will keep it to an hour. We're over an hour now, but
we're way over.
Well, we're not way over because we started late because we was waiting.
Oh yeah, true.
Wow.
Wait for Bashea to come.
Oh, that was unnecessary, man.
Wait for Bashea.
I mean, no, it's because Arron will say we were way over.
Yeah, but I came on at 9. Yeah, I came on at 9 something. It's 10:20 now. The master ceremony had other events. You know what I'm saying?
He is the crew leader. That is true. They didn't designate that. No, we were told he was the leader.
Okay.
So one of the things that I wanted us to close out with, man, is for one, I think this is one of the major questions that I'm seeing, on Facebook and then also in the chat here is understanding, what are some of the basic necessities. I think Bashea even touched on it. What are the things that we need to do as Black men right now? Like even from this conversation, maybe it's a takeaway that you took from this particular conversation, or what are you going to do as a Black man moving forward to even progress more so the protection of womanhood, of Black womanhood?
So like for me personally, you're saying like after having this conversation, how Stevon Lewis going to be different in the world. For me, I think my biggest takeaway was like kind of, I guess, the insight I had about the fact that like I have the ability, I can do that as a therapist, and I'm not doing that as much or enough or at all in the Black women that are in my ecology. And so my goal after this is to like, I'm going to start showing up more, not as therapists, but using some of those skill sets to say, hey, how are you doing? What do you need? How can I show up and be supportive of you?
Love that. What about you, Emil?
I definitely learned a lot. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really connect a lot of the subject matter that kind of connected together, but really gave me some food for thought, and maybe creating more avenues or platforms for conversations. I feel like it needs to be talked about more, and how we can get it on more national, having these conversations. I feel like this raw, real conversation, getting really out there. And I would love for us, us four, to be able to kind of make that happen. I feel like it needs to be talked about more, and have it exposed and out there. So I would love, and I'm gonna put that in an atmosphere that happens.
I think for me, I agree with that. I agree with what both of y'all just said. For me, it's to talk more with the gentlemen in my life, the gentlemen around my circle, the gentlemen that I might see might need something, kind of do some more check-ins, and also let them know, what I'm going through, some of my process, because a lot of fellas that reached out to me about different things, and I know I've been busy, but I want to be also, while I'm keeping this space for my wife and my family, I also want to be able to, connect them with them as well. Like, as far as like protecting women, my goal of protecting women is how I'm going to treat my wife and treat our daughter. So that's going to be how I'm going to do it, because now I have boundaries. I can't give access to women that are in my circle as much as I used to when I was single. So that's the way of just, being just an example.
All right, man. I think for me, man, I got a few takeaways. I think one of the major things was, I think it was Devin said that, asking them, how can you show up so that it can trust you, to be a support. But then also, I've been reading the chats and understanding that I know that I wanted to acknowledge that we were 4 Black men talking about protection of womanhood and what does that look like. But then as I read the chats, understanding that, I'm listening to y'all as well. And, a lot of this comes down to us listening to Black women and understanding, like, what do you actually need, and being open to hearing that conversation, and then understanding, hearing that sometimes we can't feel attacked when they say certain things about where we're lacking. Because a lot of times when, we see these memes or all of these, all of these different things on social media where they say, the Black man doesn't do this, or that. The first thing we try to say, well, I do this with my mom. I do it. Nah, like, they're talking about from a general sense, man. And then understanding that, it takes a lot more of us to start stepping up for them. And then also us working together as a unit. And when I say unit, Black men and Black women, and us coming together as a community, and then really starting to address these particular things. So I think that's one of my major takeaways from this. And then also, then we, people that don't, identify as man or woman, so non-binary individuals as well. So, all of those, we coming together as a Black community and understanding the different plights that we all deal with, but then also being able to listen to one another and come together, but then also address these things, as a unit again. Right. I guess, one of the last things I want, I know everybody said that they were exhausted, man, from, when we first started this off. But what are some of the self-care stuff, man, y'all want to tell the people that they need to maybe want to start implementing into their life, or anything that y'all got coming up, or, all of those particular things, man, so they can, learn. I mean, this is about us having a conversation, but then also we want to share some knowledge as well when it comes down to, us managing these trying times, because we got people out there that are teachers right now. They're teachers and working from home, and they're trying to figure out what to do with their kids. You got some kids that are actually still going to school, so people are, and then you got some people starting to back work. They're in the community and all of those things. The fear of those particular things, So, and then of course the civil unrest. So anything y'all would like to offer them, man, before we close out?
Well, I'll start. Well, thank you. Thank everybody for tuning in tonight. We definitely like to add a little comedy, but definitely, these are serious subjects. I'll be excited about the series of What's Good, Bro, for the rest of the year. Yeah, I definitely emphasize being tired. My gym, I have decided not to go back just because I just don't feel comfortable in terms, because I'm already going back to school, back in the building for my main job, so there's a lot of anxiety around that. So I'm trying to minimize my exposures to a lot of places. So definitely need to find an alternative self-care. The gym was my thing. And I was looking at a picture that I posted today from like 2008. And I was like, wow, I definitely made a significant decrease in weight. So I definitely want to maintain that. So I definitely got to find a way. So I think I want to like change the garage and just put some equipment in there, because I don't know when I'm gonna go back to the gym. A few things, just because it's important. I definitely, it was a mood lifter for me going to the gym, and it's definitely a loss, me not going back. But it's just, I don't know, everybody's different, but I can't go back right now. So I gotta find something to do. But self-care is chakras, sage, essential oils, prayer, whatever, positive. I've been giving a lot of my clients a lot more journaling to do, and they're finding that very effective. I use my notes section of my phone to like jot down stuff, and I posted an article today about apps for persons of color. So this ionotherapy I want to check out, and see how, and I want to definitely kind of give some black owned apps a try for sure. So definitely gonna try.
Yeah, there's ionotherapy. Hurdle is the other one. It was formerly Henry Health app.
Yeah, so that's Henry Health, and then there is it Lenny? Yeah, Lenny got an app too. Yeah, so there's a few out there.
We're gonna put them on the website. We're gonna put them on the website.
For sure. So I think we definitely want to steer people in that direction. But whatever you can do for self-care is really important. True circle. That's it. True circle.
I think for me, like my self-care is now like setting a schedule and getting a certain amount of sleep. Because I think sometimes we neglect what sleep really means for us. It's not just, you're tired physically, mentally, emotionally, all those things that impact it. Also drinking more water, exercising, walking in between clients, doing a little bit of exercise. It's just something different, getting up out of my chair, walking to the room, walking to go joke with my wife or whatever it is, my son, just something different. And so I'm not getting in this same routine where I'm getting stuck and it's impacting me. So I've always been a writer, so I'm writing all the time. So that's October 9th, my second edition of Dear Future Wife is coming out. Make sure you get that. I gotta plug that. But me and my wife are doing a couple of different things. So, but yeah, self-care. My wife, she does like coloring, and my dad is just like, he does coloring now, and I need to get him in one of your joints, Rashawn. He be showing
next month.
Yo, he be showing me his joints. He's like, look what I colored today. And he's 77. So that's his self-care. So that's his self-care. But yeah, so and just connecting with people and having like genuine conversations and having good friendships. Like y'all are self-care for me. So I think it's important to put that value in true friendship and brotherhood.
Yeah, for me, I still like to get out on that bicycle. I know people probably thinking motorcycle. Nah, I like to pedal. I got
one strap joint.
Yeah, I got one of the legit bikes, so I'm out there on the bike. I've been reading a lot more lately. That has been kind of, for me, just educating myself more, seeing kind of, what's out there, what people are saying about different topics or whatnot. And so for me, like when I consume information, I find ways, because I think in analogies, as to like, how can I apply it and make this thing make sense? So for me, it just fuels my mind. Like, I'm like, oh, I understand it this way and I could do it like this. So, that, and then like the thing I miss now because I'm not driving to the office is like being in the car listening to podcasts. So I'm trying to find time to put podcasts on, because like that was my thing. Like, I listen to all these different types of podcasts, and, it just gets my brain to disconnect from stuff, that aren't client related or any of that, but just fuel my information. Like learning new things I'm a lover of learning. So anything that I can kind of fuel my mind with is gold for me.
You can tune into Arron Talks. Just dropped husband file number 4 today.
Hey, congratulations on that, man.
Awesome,
for real.
Thank you. Yeah. And Bashea Be Uncut, he's doing his podcast too.
Oh wow.
Love it.
Presentation is not about therapy. I'm having a lot of conversations with men talking about their experiences, and we're real, how they either matured or some hard things they've been through, and just how they got to the other side. Or maybe some people are just stuck, and we're just having a conversation about being stuck. So yeah, Be Uncut.
I would say for me, man, when it comes down to self-care, y'all fellas knew just because, you know, y'all in my inner circle, but like I had to turn my phone off, man. I went to Walmart, got me a little $30 flip phone, gave the number to people that needed to have the number, as far as in case of emergencies or anything, but you know, just completely disconnecting from the iPhone and my main line and my business line, because this was my week off from seeing clients, but then, you know, understanding that still that disconnection, I mean, that connection still was, you know, create an inability for me to relax. So that's what I do for myself. Started eating better. I'm starting eating a lot of more vegetables and fruit, man. I never did that. And so starting to really see a change even in that. And then my physical performance when it comes down to working out and stuff and all of that, but then just the mental clarity there as well. So I'm up to like maybe 5 or 6 types of vegetables a day. And I'm just like, yo, this has never been me. So like, you know, doing those things, but then, yo, for my suggestion for people, man, yo, find time to disconnect. You don't have to catch every headline. You don't have to, see every tweet, every Instagram post, or all of those. You ain't even got to participate in all of your group meet chats. Find time to take a break from that stuff, man. And because it could become toxic for you, and then you're always high strung. So make sure you do that. As Bashea said, the coloring thing, that's one of my things. We're gonna have the coloring night next month. We're actually looking at doing it. We're gonna do it socially distanced in person, but also have a virtual aspect to it too. So look out for that. Those details will be coming real soon. But no, again, man, I appreciate y'all fellas. I appreciate everybody that tapped in, either whether you were on Zoom or whether you were on Twitter or whether you were on Facebook. All of those things, man. We appreciate the love. Make sure that you share it, and just to get it to people, because the conversation was real tonight. When it came down to just talking about just how we think as Black men, but then also challenging other people to think a little bit differently. Again, man, fellas, I love y'all. And I hope y'all get some rest tonight.
Likewise, man, for sure. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
everybody
man.
Tuning in.
Definitely. We'll see y'all next month, man.
Yes, sir.
Another what's good, bro. All right, peace out.
All right.
Be safe.
Peace.